Alright, so here we go. Today, we're talking about absolute value, which you should already know. Right? You learned this in Algebra 1, I believe. So you should know how to do absolute value. Second thing we're going to do today is we're going to talk about solving absolute value equations. This should take us maybe 10 minutes. Right? Today's lesson should be really short, should be very quick. Alright? So, first and foremost, what is absolute value? Well, it describes how far a number is from 0. You should remember that absolute value is the distance from 0. Right? So when I talk about anything, the absolute value of negative 6 would be 6, because it is 6 away from 0. When you talk about distance, we don't talk about negative distances. You don't say, well, we're negative 15 miles from Milwaukee. You don't say, I walked negative 2 miles today. You say you walked 2 miles, or I drove 15 miles, right? So every absolute value is always going to be positive because distance is always positive. So, I think that's it for that slide, right? Yeah. The absolute value symbol. So, absolute values, as you should know already, are just basically two lines around a number or an expression, right? They're not parentheses, they're not brackets. They just look at two lines, like negative 5. The absolute value of negative 5, I have lines on either side. What would be the absolute value of negative 5? 5, right? It is 5 away from 0. Or if you want to think about it, literally we're just taking the negative and we're dropping it off, right? It's always going to be a positive number. The absolute value of 7? 7. Good. Any questions so far?
Nope.
Sweet. So, no negatives with absolute values, right? Informally, like I just said, absolute value means we're always going to have positive numbers. Anything that comes out of an absolute value needs to be positive. So, order does not matter. Usually it does when we talk about subtraction, right? You do 10 minus 5, it's not the same as 5 minus 10. If it's inside the absolute value symbols, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter which way it goes. 8 minus 3 is 5. So if I take the absolute value of 5, I get 5. 3 minus 8. Negative 5. Well, the absolute value of negative 5 is 5. So as you can see, inside the absolute value sign, it doesn't matter the order. Doesn't matter which one comes first, doesn't matter what subtraction you do. It should always come out to be the same. Cool?
Yeah.
Sweet. Let's talk about solving then. When we solve absolute value equations, your first step is to get the absolute value part all by itself. Like in this case, absolute value of x plus 2, it's already by itself. You don't need to do anything. Right? And then you're going to split it into two pieces. X plus 2 equals 5, and x plus 2 equals negative 5. Why am I splitting it into two pieces? Because there's two answers. There's always two answers, right? But why is there two answers? Sarah?
You can get 5 and negative 5, because either way the absolute value can be 5.
Exactly. This x plus 2 can equal 5 or negative 5. Because when I take the absolute value of it, it will always be positive 5. So you're going to split it up into x plus 2 equals 5 and x plus 2 equals negative 5 and just solve them. Well, subtract 2, I get x equals 3. Subtract 2, I get x equals negative 7. Now remember, this is an OR statement. It can be x equals 3 or x equals negative 7. Am I going to mark it wrong if you don't put the word or in between them? Probably not. If you put the word and in between them, I would definitely mark it wrong. Right? But if you put the word or, it's okay. If you don't put it, I'm not too big of a stickler on that. But you need to have both answers. Is there a way you could check your answer?
Just plug it back in.
Just plug it back in, right? 3 plus 2 is 5. Absolute value of 5 equals 5. That works. Negative 7 plus 2 is negative 5. Absolute value of negative 5 is 5. Both of them work. We're good to go. Any questions?
No.
Alright, let's try another. Absolute value of k minus 10 equals 3. Is the absolute value all by itself? Absolute value all by itself.
Yes.
Yes, it is, right? This absolute value here is on its own side of the equal sign. So I'm going to take it, I'm going to split it up. K minus 10 equals positive 3. K minus 10 equals negative 3. And then solve each of those. Add 10. K equals 13. Or add 10 k equals 7. Same thing I said, you can plug them back in and check it. 13 minus 10 is 3, the absolute value of that is 3. 7 minus 10 is negative 3, the absolute value of that is positive 3. Any questions? Try the next one. Do it now. Then you can do it on the board then. Do you think? Probably fun to line up and just maybe we might call the nurse after a few minutes. That's alright. It's a lockdown. It's the technical term. So a lockdown is supposed to be like an emergency. Like a non-emergency lockdown for like a health issue or something like that. Something minor where they just need people to be out of the hallways. Like the drug dog goes through sometimes. Yeah. I'm not. No, I was going to give blood, but my only open period is 8th hour. And they did cleanup during 8th hour. I did, I passed out last year, yes. Yep.
Are you getting your blood drawn or just?
No, so I gave blood and then I got up and I walked about 20 yards.
Did somebody tell you to sit on the floor?
No, I actually sent my blood buddy up to my room to open it because I had class starting in like 2 minutes. So I was by myself.
Oh my goodness. I was there. They should have blood.
You're right, but I'm not going to tell you who it was. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do in a second. Alright guys, check your answers. You got -5 and 5. We good?
Yes.
Keep moving?
Yes.
Sweet.
In my biggest class.
Alright, hey. Absolute value of n plus 8 minus 4 equals 7. Is that absolute value all by itself?
No.
No, we need to get it by itself. So what do we need to do?
Add 4.
Add 4, very good. Absolute value of n plus 8 equals 11. Is that absolute value by itself? Yes, so now we can split it and solve each piece. N plus 8 equals 11. N plus 8 equals -11. I'll subtract 8, I get n equals 3. Or subtract 8, I get n equals -19. Once again, like I said, if you want, you can check it, plug it back in. I'm not going to waste my time right now. Okay. Any questions? Or should I keep rolling?
Keep a roll.
Keep rolling. Alvin, next one. 7 times absolute value of p plus 8 minus 6 equals 29. Is the absolute value by itself? No, so what do I have to do to change it? Add 6. Let's start with that. 7 times the absolute value of p plus 8 equals 35. Renee, what do I have to do next? Divide by 7. Very good. I need to get rid of this so the absolute value is by itself. Absolute value of p plus 8 equals 5. Sarah, do you have a question?
For the last one,
Yep.
I got -11 as one of the ends.
How'd you get that?
Because -11 plus 8 minus 4 is -7, and then the absolute value becomes 7.
So -11 plus 8 is -3.
Minus 4.
The absolute value of 3 is 3. Minus 4 would give me -1.
Oh,
Right? Does that make sense?
yeah.
Okay. Alright. Absolute value of p plus 8 equals 5. Is the absolute value by itself now? Yes. So, split it up. Solve each piece. P plus 8 equals 5. P plus 8 equals -5. Minus 8. I get p is -3. Or, subtract 8 from both sides. I get p is -13. Oh, what's going on?
Woo.
Alright, guys, any questions on those two problems? Do you think you can handle the last one by yourself?
Yes.
You sure? Positive?
Yes.
Okay, do it. I'll do mine on the board and you do yours on your paper. We'll compare answers. What?
Why did you both
I'm sorry. My brain is just not working.
Yeah, I totally got that.
I asked if you guys could do it on your own.
I mean,
But I-
You guys were all so confident.
Wait, but I got 2 solutions though.
Okay, hold on. Taylor Larson, what was one of your solutions? -2. 1 plus -2 is? 1 plus -2 is? -1. What's the absolute value of -1? Plus 3 is?
4.
Does that work?
that's scary.
What was the other solution we got?
0.
1 plus 0 is?
1.
Absolute value of 1 is? Plus 3 is?
4.
Does that work?
No.
Oh no, Natalie, why is it no solution?
Is it because the absolute value is a negative number?
Because this is telling me my absolute value is going to come up to a negative number.
That's not how.
Can that ever happen?
No.
Absolutely not. So anytime you're solving, guys, and your absolute value is all by itself, and it equals a negative number, we know that will never work. So there's no solution that works. Hey, that's also why it's really important to make sure we're checking our answers. Right? Alright, so yes, I tricked you. I knew that was coming.
Darn it.
You guys are so confident. I just want to crush your confidence. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't want to do that.
I already have mine.
Alright, guys, any questions?
No.
That's it for today.
Going.
Yeah.